you are a writer as well. So when you see the writing of Dal Dal, what magic do you see?
Samara and my relationship
Yeah,
is written.
yeah,
You know,
totally.
natural born killers, Bonnie and Clyde, Thelma and Louise.
Yeah,
even.
yeah, yeah.
These
True.
are stories we've grown up watching, but we don't see so many of those in our country, at least contemporarily.
Correct.
Right? So that aspect, I think also the way the police process, the processes of the police investigation, I think that is really, really well written.
This character is so complex. The way he looks, the way he is, the addictions, everything, what's on his mind, what he's gone through.
Yes.
How did you become this person? Do you meet people? Did you read everything?
When Amrit told me about it, when Suresh sir told me about it, I was floored. I was like, you don't get these kind of opportunities. So I thought that first up, this is very unique. Second, it was about diving in and understanding the sort of responsibility that you have to play this character.
Right. Did your dad see it? What did he say? Yeah.
He loved it. He really enjoyed
What did
it.
he think? What did he say?
So my parents were, you know, they
both of them saw
thought they thought that this was one of the best things that I've been a part of.
Wow,
which I was really glad to hear. I was quite curious about what they would think of the performance. Before we started shooting, I did show them my audition video.
Okay.
And his reaction to that was positive enough for me to think, chalo, theek hai, agar, you know, hopefully one has achieved a level that might be seen as, you know, half decent.
What were the early conversations of you becoming an actor?
He was very happy because I was playing football professionally, which he was not happy about. so the fact that I even like did this was something that he was actually also urging me to go into this field because he had already read some of my writing. Even while playing football, I was writing for the joy of writing. And he felt that there was something there. Acting wise, they've seen, you know, school theatre, college theatre, always been doing it. Always knew ki kshamta to hai thodi bahut. So they were actually quite pleased.
Your parents are very talented. The thing is, individually, what is that one quality when you see, when you watch something of theirs on screen?
Yeah.
We obviously have grown up watching them.
Yeah.
What do you like? How do you do this for both of them?
Oh my. With my mother, there is a sense of vitality about her. There is a sense of positivity and joy that she does. That she sort of brings to everything she does. Whether it is something on screen, whether it is something on stage, or her work with education, or even just, you know, she's a fantastic artist.
She started like, imagine, in 79, something,
yeah,
she
yeah,
won the
yeah.
title, I think,
Yes,
and
yes.
then Ye Jo Hai Zindagi must have been 80s?
Yes,
80s, yeah.
People in my family and other people also saying ki, Arey, you know, what a show, sab sadke khali ho jati thi.
Yeah, I know, and there would be video cassettes which people would record and just keep watching back to it. It was like Friends.
My favorite film of his is Oye Lucky Lucky Oye.
Yes, yeah.
He has done 3 roles in it. They're all 3 very different people, but they're all like North Indian, Haryanvi, Punjabi. Wahi hai.
Correct.
Usme he has found versatility. Usme he has found range. Hi, I'm Aditya Rawal, and you're watching this interview on Bollywood Hungama.
Aditya, welcome to Bollywood Hungama. Good to see you, especially after you know how much I enjoyed Dal Dal.
Yes.
I am one of those who, you know, went all out praising it because I thought you, Samara, Bhumi, you all were incredible. You all got a good opportunity. So, firstly, बहुत मुबारक आपको.
Thank you very much, and thank you for your reaction also. It was really, really heartening.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm going to take you back. Does this feel like this is your debut?
You know, I feel like it's been a while since something I was in has come out, so it does feel really nice and really fresh. This feeling of people, you know, reacting to what you've done.
Right.
But also, I think the reaction to Dal Dal has been quite unlike what I have faced so far in my career. So yeah, in its own way, it feels like its own fresh thing.
Right.
But to be able to have that backed up with the experience of having had a few releases in the past, I feel like I'm emotionally more able to also take in the praises and the brickbats. Yeah.
True. You know, you are a writer as well. Yes. So when you see the writing of Dal Dal, what magic do you see?
So a few things, right? I think one is a very strong choice that Suresh sir and the writers' room that was made in the writers' room is that yes, after a point, it is no longer a whodunit, it is a why done it, right? And to be able to back yourself with that choice in in a climate where the audience is usually not getting a why done it, or they're mostly seeking out who done it.
Correct.
So you know that you're going to perhaps lose some viewers by making that strong
Yes,
choice.
yes.
But then that is also what sets our show apart.
Apart.
So that I think is just brilliant. The other thing that I really like is the way that Samara and my relationship
Yeah,
is written.
yeah.
You know,
Totally.
natural born killers, Bonnie and Clyde, Thelma and Louise.
Yeah,
even.
yeah, yeah.
These
True.
are stories we've grown up watching, but we don't see so many of those in our country, at least contemporarily.
Correct.
Right? So that aspect, I think also the way the police process, the processes of the police investigation. I think the way those are written, those scenes are written, that whole, the whole relationship, the whole dynamics between like the different sort of levels of hierarchy.
Right.
I think that is really, really well written. So those are the three things that I found really special with Asha.
Right. You were good, and so was your co-actor, Samara. How important it is to have that co-actor who puts in as much as you are putting in, and maybe more.
I mean, she's fantastic. So I think the one thing is that, especially in a relationship like this, where the characters are almost symbiotic, it is very, very important, right? And what was great was from day one with Samara, it was just that easy. You've spoken to her, you know the kind of person she is. She really is just a lovely, lovely person and very open. So from day one, I felt that there is going to be no judgment coming from here. It will only be a sort of open exchange of ideas, warmth and vibes. So then to be able to sort of play off of each other, sometimes even do those things where, oh, what do you think? What if I try this? How would you react? And all of those things, and to have Amrit just there to like sort of let us fly. We know that if we go straight too far in either direction, Amrit is there to sort of course correct. That was just brilliant, because it felt like, oh, you're flying, but you're flying with somebody that is totally along for the ride and often leading you on,
Right. Tell me about becoming this character. This character is so complex. The way he looks, the way he is, the addictions, everything, what's on his mind, what he's gone through.
Yes.
How did you become this person? Did you meet people? Did you just read everything?
No, so I mean, first up though, it was when Amrit told me about it, when Suresh sir told me about it, I was floored. I was like, you don't get these kind of opportunities.
Bilkul.
Like I look back on my, people even say my father, I don't think even he's had a chance to play somebody like this. Of course, there has been Tamanna, there has been Raja, there has been those phenomenal performances. So I thought that first up, this is very unique. Second, it was about diving in and understanding the sort of responsibility that you have to play this character. Because yes, it is a fictional world, but it is dealing with, he is dealing with a problem that is very real in today's day and age, right?
True.
So you can't be messing around, you can't be, I don't think, lax on the details. So that kind of responsibility was also something I was cognizant of. It was, like it is usually, you read a lot, you watch a lot of documentaries, you go meet a lot of people. I went to multiple rehabs in and outside of the city.
Okay.
Oh yeah, and there is a rehab center outside of the city called Freedom Center. It's run by this fellow called Brian, who himself has been sober for 30 years. But he had some stories that would make the hair on the back of your neck stand, right?
My God.
And now he's running this fantastic rehab center outside of the city. So I went there. I found it really wonderful to sort of interact with him. I went there a few times. And then we made the decision to sort of, whenever there is any, when there are any scenes to do with usage or withdrawal or any such thing, Brian would be on set. Right? So that allowed us to find so many more details, to be able to sort of fine tune certain things. Right down to like, there are a couple of shots which actually are in the trailer as well, where the lips sort of quiver and the eyes flutter when I'm using. And that came directly from Brian. Where he said that Amrit wanted a close-up. We were thinking, what would it be? And right down to the T, Brian has been like, oh, what would happen is your eyes would flutter in this particular way, your lips, and that was just like, ultra tight close-up. So it's purely physical acting. But it was really interesting because it's like, okay, that is what would happen.
Right.
So how do you sort of create that physical reaction?
Wow.
And because he was there on set, we could do all of this.
Right.
So it was, it's that process of, which I think is what all acting is about, is that you prepare as much as you can. And then you go to the set with without trying to retain any of that knowledge and just express yourself with joy. The added advantage here is that you have a fantastic director, you have a great showrunner who's going to be keeping tabs on the whole thing, and you have Brian who will again correct any detail that has gone wrong. So all we had to do was really just express ourselves.
Amazing. This character is so strong that when you play it for so many days, I know it's not an inspirational character to become, but this must be staying with you even after you come back home. What stayed with you about this?
So to be honest, no, my process is not so much
Okay,
like
you don't
that.
switch off?
I take a while to sort of get in. I make sure I put in enough time to be able to get into characters. But when I'm done with them, I'm able to sort
Switch
of.
off. Okay.
It's not like I'm taking that emotional state back home. But what happened with Sajid is that I was telling you offline that. Men usually don't get to play such vulnerable, emotionally fraught characters, right? So the fact that I got to play this person who's essentially breaking down every other scene, it really, I felt like it opened something in me. Because, as men, we're taught to sort of reserve ourselves, stay
cry,
strong and all of those things. And to be able to play somebody who is lost, there is no such pretensions. All that, that ego, all of that is broken to a point where you're totally open and vulnerable. To be able to play that, I feel has helped me as an actor also just become more emotionally open.
Wow. Did your dad see it? What did he say?
He loved it. He really enjoyed it.
What did he think? What did he say?
So my parents were, they
both
thought,
of them saw it,
they thought that this was one of the best things that I've been a part of.
Wow,
which I was really glad to hear. I was quite curious about what they would think of the performance.
Correct.
Though I remember before we started shooting, I did show them my audition video.
Okay.
And his reaction to that was positive enough for me to think, chalo, theek hai, agar, hopefully one has achieved a level that might be seen as, half decent. And that was the case. They really enjoyed the show. They really enjoyed the performances. My mother especially thought Samara was fantastic. My brother loved Bhumi's performance. In fact, my dad called up Suresh sir immediately and kept raving mostly about the screenplay and about how those choices are taken and how, so much of it is so conscious. And such is the subjectivity of our medium. That, when we watch a game of football, right, you can say ki out of 22, Messi is the best. Can you ever say that about any film? You can't.
You cannot.
So no choice can be 100% sort of correct for everyone. But for my father, those choices really landed very well.
Wow,
and
that's amazing.
They had a long chat.
Wow. Yeah, it's great to have someone at home who you can ask what is good, what is not good. What is your family equation life in that? Do you go to them for advice? Do you want the advice? Do you want to be on your own?
No, I definitely go to them for advice, not for choices. So choices, I sort of depend on my own instinct because, if you make a wrong choice based on somebody else's opinion, you'll end up hating yourself for it and the other person for it as well, right? So I always follow my own instinct for the choices.
Right.
But when it comes to certain things for the role I'm playing, but more importantly for off the set stuff, right? Oh, how do I handle this situation? This is a bit of a sensitive situation. How do I go about this? Those kind of things also I am always seeking that advice and guidance because I've said this before that there are plenty of advantages to sort of being the child of somebody who's in the industry. But the biggest advantage is this, that you can rely on somebody for guidance and advice, somebody who's been in this field for 40 years. Matlab, gin chun ke how many people can have that? Maybe 40, 50 people in our industry have been working for that long.
True.
So to be able to rely on the guidance of somebody like that is the biggest benefit.
Wow. When you started this discussion, when you became a writer, you've done work before this also. But what were the early conversations of you becoming an actor?
He was very happy because I was playing football professionally, which he was not happy about. so the fact that I even like did this was something that he was actually also urging me to go into this field because he had already read some of my writing. Even while playing football, I was writing for the joy of writing. And he felt that there was something there. Acting wise, they've seen, the school theatre, college theatre, and always been doing it. Always knew कि क्षमता तो है थोड़ी बहुत. So they were actually quite pleased. But I think there was that very clear understanding, which I think didn't even need to be said, which was that this is going to be a hard journey.
Yeah.
You're not in a field, you're in a highly competitive field.
Yeah, that's so true.
And, as you go further, in fact, you find that, when you reach a particular, you feel like when you reach a particular level in terms of getting the kind of work that you're hoping to get, you feel it becomes easier, but it actually becomes harder, right?
It becomes harder.
You have more to lose, your stakes are bigger, and suddenly everything matters more.
Competition is more.
Yeah, exactly, right? So I think that was just an understood fact that this is going to be difficult.
Right.
Emotionally, more than anything else. To be able to deal, and mentally, to be able to deal with those things.
Right.
That understanding was somehow there. And that was, I think, what I took back after that conversation, where it was like, oh, great, you're doing this and not playing football professionally anymore. But there is also the obstacles in this journey that you have to look for.
Right. Your parents are very talented. The thing is, individually, what is that one quality when you see, when you watch something of theirs on screen?
Yeah.
We obviously have grown up watching them.
Yeah.
What you're like, how do you do this for both of them?
Oh my. With my mother, there is a sense of vitality about her. There is a sense of positivity and joy that she does, that she sort of brings to everything she does. Whether it is something on screen, whether it is something on stage, or her work with education, or even just, she's a fantastic artist. So any artwork that she's doing, any of it.
Wow.
So, and that translates on screen, because I feel like there is nothing more joyous or joyful for an audience than to look at somebody who's enjoying what they do.
Wow.
Like when you see an actor that enjoys what they do, you can tell. There are some of the great Nawazuddin Siddiqui performances. The guy is having a great time. The character may be morose, but the guy is having a great time. And that translates. And I feel like that's what my mother has.
Yeah. And she started in 79 something.
Yeah,
she won the title, I think.
Yes,
and then Ye Jo Hai Zindagi must have been 80s?
Yes.
80s, yeah. Wow, and what a absolute legendary show.
No, I mean, those were the Ye Jo Hai Zindagi. I remember, I wasn't born then, but I remember my people in my family and other people also saying ki, what a show, sab sadke khali ho jati thi.
Yeah, I know, and there would be video cassettes which people would record and just keep watching back to it. It was like Friends.
Exactly. And in that, of course, there was the late great Mr. Satish Shah.
Yes, my God.
Who would come in with different characters, right? Yes. So that versatility is actually something that I feel my father also has oodles of. And that is what I would sort of take from, to take from my father. Or when I watch him, I'm like, how do you
do it?
Like, my favorite film of his is Oye Lucky Lucky Oye.
Yes, yeah.
He has done 3 roles in it. They're all 3 very different people, but they're all like North Indian, Haryanvi, Punjabi. Wahi hai.
Correct.
Usme he has found versatility. Usme he has found range.
Yeah.
It's another thing to be able to say, ki chalo, ek Gujarati hai, ek Punjabi hai, ek Tamil hai, ya kuch. The fact that they're all from a similar region of the country and still very clearly 3 different people. That level of detail and versatility is what, when I look at it, I'm like,
true.
What
is their advice off camera? What is for you for being off camera?
Their advice is that I should be a little bit more now sort of outgoing with.
Are you not like you shy? Or?
Yeah, it just doesn't come to me naturally. Okay. It's something that I'm very, I'm hoping to learn and get better with. It's also something that I never saw them doing, right? What I saw them doing as my parents was, put your head down, keep working. आज मैं नाटक का रिहर्सल है, आज शूट है, शूट नहीं है, रिहर्सल नहीं है तो घर पे बैठ के पढ़ाई हो रही है, या स्क्रिप्ट पे काम किया जा रहा है, कैरेक्टर एक्सेंट पे काम हो रहा है, बॉडी पे काम हो रहा है घर में. So the work the process of it was something that I always knew and I always actually have grown to love. It is this aspect which which my dad says it's a different time from the time he
that's true.
He was coming up. So
Correct.
I suppose that is something that they've been sort of telling me to sort of be a little bit more active with.
Correct.
But I think that is that bit of advice only comes if you follow the first bit of advice, which is you got to put a head down and keep working.
Keep working, 100%. Right. Now that now that this is watched by many more people than your previous work, now again the challenge is to go and do more work, like what you were saying, put your head down and work. Is it a tough game?
I don't look at it in terms of that, because I know that if I look at it in terms of that, it will bring into question or it'll bring to light certain considerations that I don't want to have to make or consider. So what I look at it is in terms of, can I invest 3-4 months into this character that I have either auditioned for and been accepted for or been offered? Will this sustain my interest? Because I will be preparing hard for it a month or two before I go on to set, while I'm on set, and then whatever little maybe dubs or whatever might be required after. Can I is the character, is the story interesting enough for me to invest everything that I have into it for this period of time? If so, then great. And then obviously another very, very important consideration is who are the people that I'm doing it with.
Right.
If I can trust the director, the writers, the producers, and of course my co-actors, and if I feel like it can sustain my interest, I'm going to do it.
That's a great point, that your interest should be in it, because पहले तो ऐसा नहीं होता था. पहले you talk to any actor, they would sign films for friends, they would sign film for money, they would sign film for a producer. इसने बोला कर दो, उसने बोला कर दो. And today you are actually saying that it should sustain your interest, otherwise you're not interested.
Yeah, I mean it's also, I guess it's also the advantage of not having any EMIs on my head.
Correct. Yeah, big advantage.
Massive. And again, another advantage of being from a privileged background is that आपको वो सब चीजें सोचनी नहीं पड़ती. कि अरे यार, how do I pay for somebody's treatment, or how do I pay the rent? And
basics also.
And very honestly, those are real world considerations which, I look at my father. Through the 90s, he was doing 2 shifts because he had 2 kids to raise. Right? So I remember, like you said, he would come back from so many of his shoots being like, I would be like, how was your day? And he'd be like, chhodne yaar, what's the scope? And then there would be certain days कि तमन्ना करके आए, सरदार करके आए, rehearsal करके आए. When without sort of even us asking, he'll get into what he's up to, what is so interesting. So if for them also it was, एक मन के लिए, एक धन के लिए kind of thing.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah.
हमारे लिए, our luck is that ज़्यादातर धन के लिए करने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ती अगर मन नहीं है तो.
Right. So now that this is done, can you tell us what is next? Can you tell what should we look forward to?
Yes. So we have Subedar coming up.
Which is looking
which
great.
Is also going to be on Amazon, which is also a Suresh Triveni, Vikram Malhotra project, which I'm very, very excited about. It is intense, the part, but it is very, very different from what I've done in Dal Dal.
Okay.
मतलब in its own way ज़मीन आसमान का फर्क है. And there is that. Then there is also, I'm playing a small part in Gandhi.
Oh, nice.
Which is also diametrically opposite from anything I've ever done before.
Wow.
And then there's a few other things that
which you'll talk later.
Right.
So Subedar and Dal Dal, was it clashing or you shot this?
No. So like I said, wo Dal Dal I was shooting. Then I shot something in the middle that hopefully will see the light of day soon. And then I went on to Subedar.
Right.
And I think that is really down to Suresh sir. The trust that he has placed in me for these 2 phenomenal characters, but also the relationship that I share with him. I see him very much as a mentor.
Right.
We also, I've also written a script for him. In fact, so that's how we met for the first time. He saw Bumpard.
Yeah.
And then we met in the COVID lockdown, after the lockdown or whatever, where he said, I want to work with you. I don't know on what, but just be sure I will work with you.
Wow.
And
really cool,
I took that to heart. And because he didn't seem like, he is not a person who will, give you any BS. So that I knew. So then when I had a story in mind to write, I went up to him, I said, sir, I really respect your work. Is this something that you would be willing to direct? He said, very much so. Let's get down to it. Let's start writing it. तो पहले वो हुआ. फिर दलदल हुआ और फिर सूबेदार हुआ.
Okay, how interesting.
Yeah.
Nice. You know, in this generation of actors, what are you watching? Who do you like? Who do you think is great?
This generation of actors, it's so many, right? One has grown up loving the work of a Joaquin Phoenix or a Philip Seymour
My God,
Hoffman,
amazing,
or even closer to home, Mr. Jaideep Ahlawat, Irrfan Saab. These are all absolute legends, right?
100%.
There's a I think his name is Josh O'Connor, the fellow who's in
Josh O'Connor,
Challengers and Knives Out.
Correct,
There's something so relaxed about him. There's something so free and easy about him. You know, they say कि अरे पानी की तरह बह रहा है, and that's what I see in him. And I think he is a really fantastic actor, but I also really love Tripti Dimri's work.
She is amazing.
She is too good,
and see the range, like, you know, from a kala to go to an animal.
Exactly.
Like, what a range.
And to be able to, like, and now I mean, like, you know, they announced Suresh Sir's one more film on Netflix.
Right.
And just to see her, play this character also, I'm really excited to see what she also does.
What attracts you about these actors that you name? Say these are like, you know, they are great cinema. Like, I'll tell you, I've been in the same room as Joaquin Phoenix. I've interviewed him.
Oh, really?
And I can't tell you, it makes you so nervous when you're sitting opposite them. But there is a madness that makes them
कुछ तो
legends.
होगा. I mean, I to be honest, I don't know any of them personally. I've only actually met, I think, Tripti once on Ma Bain's set. Otherwise, all the other actors I've named, I don't know them, nor have I met them.
But would you watch their interviews out of interest? Would you watch any?
I would. Especially Irrfan Saab and Jaideep Ahlawat's interviews. Because they're also given the right kind of interview, right? Some of them are promotional, a little bit more fluff. Some of the proper sit downs where they're really bearing their soul or talking about their craft. I just absolutely, I devour anything that they have to say and do. Also, I would like to, I mean, like so many others before me, Nasir Saab, right?
My God,
Because he, I think, he is a great resource for. Resource sounds a bit sort of cold, but the fact that somebody who is such a great actor is also as fantastic a teacher and is just as good talking about the process of acting. Because some people are fantastic actors, but they're not so comfortable talking about the process or the nitty-gritty of it. Maybe it bores them, maybe they're not articulate enough. Nasir sir is that. He is articulate, he is learned, and he is so insightful. So, and it's backed by ability and experience.
Correct.
So, the fact that he is like a complete package for somebody who wants to learn acting. So, अगर आपको मतलब एक्टिंग सीखना है तो उनका सारा काम देखिए, उनके नाटक जाके देखिए और फिर उनके इंटरव्यूज घोल के पी जाइए. Because you'll get every aspect of it. In fact, we were talking about something in Dal Dal only. There's a couple of choices that my father was kind of like, oh, why do you make this choice? Why do you make this choice? And then suddenly he goes, you should actually discuss this with Nasir sir if he has the time, because the insight he will have on this. And I said, yeah, absolutely. So, and then again, these are luxuries
that you have, the access that
one
you have.
One is very, very grateful for.
Right. But again, Nasir sir, like imagine back in the days, he did a Tridev as well.
Exactly.
It's not that he's just known for some parallel cinema that was going on. Went all out, all commercial, dancing to Oi Oi and everything.
And Hero Hira Lal.
Hero Hira Lal. Yeah. When you, after even suppose you and I sit after 5 years, what should be on your filmography?
Honestly, I don't think of it in terms of that, because I feel like वो सोच के भी वो मतलब your life is still going to pan out in many different ways, right? But there are a couple of things that I just want to keep challenging myself, genuinely do very, very different kind of roles. It might be that you fall flat on your face,
but you'll try.
I will try. I hope to. If we meet 5 years down the line and if you are to say that, oh, your choices are brave, that will be a job well done. Baki, nothing is in one
Correct.
hand.
Nobody's control.
Yeah. So that is one thing, and there's one other thing where I write films and I act in them, but I haven't written something that I've acted in. So that is something that I am hoping to work towards. So
Amazing.
maybe that
Like
too.
your parents are telling you now you have to go out there. You know, there's so much more to an actor. There's so much, you know, your father may be having a rough day, but the minute he goes down, everybody has a smile on their face and they would want him.
Yeah.
Someone will think he's from Hera Fairy. Someone will think
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
from somewhere. So, you know, fame is such a different thing. Any plans to deal with that? Like now you have social media. He didn't have that earlier. Do you enjoy it? Do you like it?
You know, before I started, I was quite enthralled by the idea of fame and all of that. But I've always seen that he has been somewhat disenchanted by it.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I think that in a way it's good.
Yeah, in
you
a
know,
way it's
because
good,
I
yeah.
asked him this actually. And I was like, why aren't you like out there, or do you not enjoy it? And he said this very insightful thing. He's like, yeah, it's very temporary. It's very transient. So why attach yourself to something that is temporary and transient when you can actually invest mind, body, and effort into something that, you know, helps you progress, or just sort of hold your interest, even if it's sort of like, you know, going watching something or reading something interesting. So I always looked at it as a kind of it's something that is best kept at an arm's length.
Right.
I've never had to deal with that.
Sure.
It's not like I'm recognized by multiple people on the street or anything like that. When that happens, I'm sure it'll be okay. Aisa kuch.
But it's interesting, your dad, who's been around for 40 years, also thinks it's temporary.
Of course, yeah, because it's always fluctuating. Na? And I mean, yeah, if you've been around for 40 years, then it kind of remains,
Yeah.
and then your legitimacy remains for longer.
Correct.
Even if you're, say, somebody who may not, he's still actively working, but if somebody who's not actively working will still have that.
Yeah.
But then without the work, what is the meaning of that?
Yeah,
right?
true. Without good work.
Then it just feels like empty.
Yeah.
You feel in a way like कि यार ये किस बात का हुपला है, किस बात का हवा है, you know. So that I think is I feel like he looks at it. I think he's keeping it at an arm's length still.
Right.
Which I think is not a bad idea.
Yeah, it's a great idea.
Hi, I'm Aditya Rawal, and you're watching this interview on Bollywood Hungama.